Times were tough, so I sold my soul. And I don't think I'll ever regain control. Devil looked me in the eye, now I look the other way. What else could I do? I just stared at the doorway, knew I'd rather be drunk with you. I'd rather be drunk.
Hey Internet, Dracofunk here. Welcome back to the Reusable Space Program, Season 3, Episode 32, Part 2. And this is the one where, this is why, this episode, this part right here is why I had to break the season finale into 3 parts. Because my goal is to get everything refueled. Last episode, Part 1, we refueled at Minmus, but only about halfway. And this episode, we are refueling at the Mun. It took 127 days to refuel on Minmus. Let's see how long it takes on the Mun. Now, landing on the Mun is a little bit more difficult, but I've done it so many times that it's really not a thing. I remember, like, my first Mun landing was really not easy. It didn't go quite the way I had planned. And the only thing that didn't go as planned here is I'm on a little bit more of an incline than I'd like. I probably should have went and landed over there. I had plenty of Delta V and I could have taken off here, but I can't be bothered. I'm just going to slide down. So first of all, thank you for all of our new subscribers. This is my Reusable Space Program. This is the 3rd season. I've been doing this for a while. It was something I've always wanted to do based on of Scott Manley's Reusable Space Program, and I always underestimate how long things will take. And that's why this episode's been broken down into 3 parts. My goals this season were to get the space trucks up and running, get space tourism up and running, and then the end of it, I wanted to be doing stuff in the Eve system. And I do have the space trucks up and running, and the space tourism, well, we have a space station that is built. The fuel tanks have yet to be filled, but that's what I'm working on right now. And I did not get anything accomplished on the Eve system. So we'll start that in the next season. But right now, I'm just going to skip over all the mining. It only took 20 days to get this mining run done. And I kind of skipped over that because it's a lot of the same stuff. I did not fill up completely on oxidizer. I got a little bit more than I normally do, but I have a reason for that. I actually need some oxidizer up at the station. And we're flying up to a 100-kilometer orbit. The Mun station is actually in a lower orbit than the Minmus station. And just circularizing, and then I will go for the rendezvous planner just to help get everything aligned. I went on a little bit of an inclination trying to find what I thought would be a flatter portion of the Mun, and it wasn't too bad. Like, if you're not careful, you can end up in a crater, and you could find yourself in a really bad situation. But that didn't happen, and now all I need to do is dock with the station and do my favorite thing, which is transfer fuel. All right. And from here, I don't need the rendezvous planner. I can just go ahead and get closer and dock on my own. The big thing is eventually we'll have 3 liquid fuel tanks that need to go to the space tourism station, and there'll be a 4th one that'll probably be, I thought about doing combo liquid fuel and oxidizer, but the station itself has lots of room for regular rocket fuel, liquid fuel and oxidizer built in, so I probably won't add an extra tank of that, so I'll probably just do a full tank of monopropellant, which is always fun because monopropellant takes the longest to fill. What I did on Minmus was actually take the monoprop tank down to the surface and fill it up there, which will probably be something I do on the Mun, but that's going to have to wait until next season. I will need to launch some... Well, actually, I don't. I can just send the fuel tanker to the station, and that's probably what I'll do. Although I should send another regular tank of liquid fuel and oxidizer up, just so I don't have to do so many runs, because right now it would take a bunch of trips to do that. Alright, and I'm running this, I'm transferring all this fuel. I'm running it way, 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 way fast. I think that was 16 times. But here's the station, and I would like to say we are done with this portion, but we're not. Now we have all these ships that are in orbit of Kerbal, and we need to bring back to the Mun station. And it's really, we got to get all these rendezvous done just so we can get everything fueled. I had wanted to do kind of a grand tour. Shaggy B wanted to see if it was possible for his Kerbal to go everywhere without doing any refueling, which, if I had everything set up, I could easily do from the Kerbal Space Center. He could hop on board at SSTO, take it to the Enterprise station, and from there he can get a ride from any number of the space buses to either the Mun or Minmus or even Duna. And eventually, once I get it set up, Eve, I need to do a better job of getting everything done all at once. Alright, I don't know what happened there. I almost... My alarm didn't go off at the right time, and I almost had a Mun escape. And now my orbit's all messed up. And... oh, come on. I'm... you know... whoops, I'm about to crash into the surface. See, it's okay. There. I don't even know. I don't know what happened. It's fine, though. And now I can easily get into a 100-kilometer orbit. Kind of inclined. But that's okay. I've had a couple instances where my alarm clock either slipped, and this is only it hasn't happened around Minmus. It's happened around the Mun, and it happened in Duna too, where I lost my encounter, or somehow the alarm hiccup and I missed my encounter, and I had to go to a bunch of trouble to try and get back into the orbit. The Duna one was really scary because once you're way out there, if you don't get into orbit, you're stuck in orbit of the sun for a long time. And you can brute force your way back in, but it's really, really difficult. And I kind of had to just burn towards Duna, and luckily I was able to catch up without too much extra Delta V. And from there I was able to get into orbit, but it definitely costs more Delta V than it should have. But the good news is, since I have this infrastructure even set up in Duna, it wasn't a big deal to refuel the ships, because everything I have Duna set up to where there's a refueling operation going on between Duna and Ike. And I need to get that set up for Gilly and Eve as well. I don't yet know how I'm going to do Eve's surface. I'm going to have to think about that one. Yeah, I had wanted Season 4 to be all about, at the beginning, setting up a small, like a micro station and surface rover on Drez. I wanted to visit the Drez Canyon, and then the latter half be setting up Jewel. I wish you could see the face I was making, but I still haven't got the Eve system set up. And here we are. We're going at like 16 times sped up to get all the fuel transferred, because I have to make sure the tanker is full before I even put fuel in its extra fuel tanks. And in order to do so, I'm going to have to do another mining run. And this is just everyday maneuvers at this point. I should really go back and count how many times I've done mining runs now throughout the entire reusable space program. Alright. And I'm just looking for a flat spot, and it looks a little bit flatter over there. It's going to put me on a little bit of an incline when it's time to launch back. That's okay. And I'm remembering to set up the orientation for when I take off, because I'm really bad about doing that. And just doing yet another MUN landing. And I will probably go ahead and crossfade the 20 days of mining. I'm going to spend roughly 20. Actually, I don't know how many days it takes this time. It took 20 last time. Let's see. Here we are. And we are... oh, only 7 days later. Why was it so less? Maybe it has to do with the density of the... minerals of the ore. And right now, I'm actually going to try and fly into an encounter. So what's my separation? 52 kilometers. Oh well. Not quite as I planned. Yeah, that's why it's so... I forgot my inclination. And the reason I have so little Delta V launching is because I have a full ore tank and 2 full fuel tanks of just liquid fuel. And I could eliminate that and have more Delta V, but that's not the point of this mission. The point of this mission is just to get as much fuel back to the station as possible. And I could forego bringing ore up, and that would probably save on some Delta V. And maybe I'll try that next time. I do like bringing the ore up and converting it to monopropellant, but I think what I'll do next time is fill the ore up and have it be converting into liquid fuel on the way up. And actually, I might bring the monoprop tanks down with me. And my goal for this episode was to get as many, just get everybody, I wanted everybody refueled. And I realized that that was a terrible, terrible pipe dream. Alright, I need to get my... lots of fuel transfer So much fuel transfer. I want to remind you, this is like sped up 16 times. This is how long I spent just transferring fuel. But, you know, as a reusable space program, this is one of the realities of space travel. You're going to spend so much time just moving resources around. And that's why that's what makes this whole system sustainable, is the acquisition and transportation of resources. Like all the other fun exploration stuff doesn't happen unless all this infrastructure is there. And now the tanker has fuel where it needs to go, and now it's time to... At this point, I still thought I was going to do something with Shaggy B and Dracofunk's Kerbal avatars. And here they are now. They're still on the retro rocket, which the retro rocket itself needs to be refueled. All right. Why is this one track so loud? Don't know what happened there. Anyway, sending the tanker back to Kerbin, and it's going to go ahead and rendezvous with the retro rocket and do a very close flyby of the station. Probably wasn't the safest thing, but that's okay. It's a cool little shot. Aiming for a 400 kilometer orbit. I like to come in about 400 kilometers and capture that way, and then I can reduce the orbit a little bit. But coming in to a lower orbit too tight, I found it's a little bit too much to slow down with using the nuclear engines. And then you have to break it up into several orbits, which I still might break this up into 2 orbits. Maybe not. I was doing it without setting up a maneuver node, but I realized that that's ridiculous because I can use the SAS to hold position on the maneuver node. Plus, it tells me when I really should burn to get the orbit I want. Not exactly where I want to be. I wanted to be in a 400 circular orbit. But that's okay. This is all about doing the rendezvous anyway. And since I'm rendezvousing with the ship, it really shouldn't be too bad. So, Shaggy B and Dracofunk's Kerbal avatars are on the retro rocket. Vomit's avatar is on the Borg cube. Well, it's not really a Borg cube. It's a Borg cube. Alright, there's the retro rocket. And let's see, who else? Scrodrick's avatar has kind of just flown off to be by himself. If you saw the episode, you know where he is. I forget why I had the Retro Rocket do that. I had a reason. Now I don't remember what it is. But that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do Matt Lowndes' method for docking, which is have both ships set each other's docking ports as target, and then just have SAS point to the target and have them dock together. And here we are. The Retro Rocket itself is basically an SSTO. It launches itself from the surface. I actually launched it from atop of the VAB. And it has a good amount of Delta V, and I'm going to be using it for some stuff next season. But hey, thanks for watching, and this is going to end part 2, and part 3 will be coming out soon, and it's going to start right back here where we left off. Again, if you haven't done so, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you next time.